Leigh Murray's poem An Absolutely Ordinary Rainbow was written in 1969. It is set in the heart of 1960s Sydney, where the bustling city suddenly comes to a halt due to a single extraordinary event: a man openly weeping in the middle of a mare. The man's unrestrained sorrow fascinates, shocks, and disturbs the city's inhabitants, who are unused to such raw displays of emotion in their fast paced, emotionally repressed world. The poem explores how society has stifled emotional expression, making the man's open weeping a profound and disorienting spectacle that challenges the modern world's values and attitudes towards feeling. The poem opens with a rapid spread of rumor across Sydney's busy establishments, from bars and cafes to the stock exchange and a general. People hear the news that a man is crying uncontrollably in Martin Place, and curiosity drives them into the streets where they rush to see the spectacle. Traffic grinds to a halt as people flood towards the square, eager to witness something so unusual. The man's public display of emotion causes a wave of nervous excitement and fascination. The crying man stands apart from the crowd, weeping openly and unashamedly. He doesn't cry like a child nor like the wind, but like a man. His weeping is calm, theatrical, but pure and intense. The crowd that gathers around him is held back by the force of his sorrow, afraid to approach too closely. His sadness creates a kind of invisible barrier, a star of space around him, as the purity of his emotion keeps the onlookers at a distance. The man's tears are not performative. He is simply crying without offering any explanation or message to those watching him. His weeping becomes an act of vulnerability that feels alien in the bustling modern world. Even the police, who initially attempt to remove him, become awestruck by the sight. They feel a longing to cry themselves, as though the man's weeping has tapped into something deep within them. The poem compares this longing to the way children long to see a rainbow, a beautiful natural phenomena that fills them with wonder. Weeping is like a rainbow. It is ordinary yet extraordinary, a display of emotion that touches something fundamental and pure within the human spirit. As more people gather to watch, they react in different ways. Some are deeply moved by the man's display of emotion, while others are appalled or uncomfortable. A man near the speaker pretends to vomit in disgust, dismissing the event as silly and inappropriate. This reaction underscores the societal discomfort with such open displays of feeling. Public crying is seen as out of place in the city, where emotions are expected to be kept private and people are supposed to be focused on productivity, money, and consumption. The weeping man disrupts these norms, reminding the onlookers of something they have forgotten: the ability to truly feel. Some people in the crowd experience something closer to a religious awakening. A woman touches the weeping man and begins crying uncontrollably herself, as though his tears have unlocked her own hidden emotions. Others follow her lead, overcome the emotion and a sense of being accepted. For many, the man's crying becomes a catalyst for their own emotion to tap into feelings they have long suppressed. However, not everyone reacts positively. Some people try to resist the urge to cry, afraid of what it might mean to express their emotions so openly. These individuals seem to fear the vulnerability that comes with emotional expression, choosing instead to maintain the facade of control and composure demanded by modern society. This tension between the desire to feel and the fear of vulnerability runs throughout the poem, highlighting the conflict between the emotional needs of the individual and the expectations of a busy impersonal world. The weeping man, however, remains indifferent to the reactions of the crowd. He offers no explanation for his tears and makes no attempt to communicate with those around him. His weeping is not performative or attention seeking. It is simply an expression of deep, unfiltered sadness. Words are message for the onlookers, and his pain remains his own, as natural and unmovable as the earth and the sea. The man's emotional outpouring stands in contrast to the urban environment around him, where feelings are typically kept in check and emotions are not given space to exist freely. The man stops crying. He rises from where he has been sitting and walks through the crowd, wiping the tears from his face. He carries himself with a sense of quiet dignity, as though he has completed a task that needed to be done. Despite the emotional intensity of the scene, the man's departure is calm and understated. He avoids those who tried to follow him, disappearing down a side street as mysteriously as he appeared. This poem suggests that the modern city, with its focus on business, productivity, and social expectations, has led to a disconnection between people and their emotions. In the hustle and bustle of urban life, there is a little room for vulnerability or the expression of deep feelings. People keep their emotions bottled up, afraid to let their true selves show. The weeping man's public display of emotion challenges this emotional repression, revealing the loss many people have to feel and express their emotions more freely. However, the man's crying also exposes the discomfort many feel with emotional openness. Some onlookers mock or dismiss him, unable to understand or accept the vulnerability he represents. Others are deeply moved, recognizing in his tears a reflection of their own suppressed emotions. The poem thus becomes a critique of the modern world's suppression of feeling, suggesting that the ability to feel deeply and express those feelings is a fundamental part of